All right, let's get right into it. There's this huge idea floating around right now, and you've probably heard it. Just use AI for all your web scraping. I mean, it sounds like the perfect solution, right? A magic button for getting all the data you need. But today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see what actually happens when this dream meets reality. And this is the core of that dream. It makes so much sense on the surface. We've all seen what these large language models can do. They can read, they can summarize, they get context, so it seems like a no-brainer to just point them at the web and say, go get me the data. It's a really compelling idea. Yeah, so what happens? Well, as you might guess, it's not quite that simple. When you try to take this amazing concept out of a small test and deploy it into the wild, messy, complex world of the internet, especially at enterprise scale, some pretty serious cracks start to show up. And those cracks, they appear in two places that are, absolutely critical for any business: how much it costs and whether you can actually trust the data you're getting back. So let's tackle the money problem first. This right here, this is the trap. When you're running a pilot, scraping maybe a few thousand pages, everything looks fantastic. The costs are totally manageable, the results look promising, and the team gets a big thumbs up. But going from thousands of pages to millions of pages, that is not a straight line. It is a completely different universe of complexity. And that leap into the big leagues comes with a massive price tag. Think about it. Every single one of those millions of pages has to be processed by an LLM. Running these models over and over and over again gets unbelievably expensive, like way faster than you'd expect. What started as a clever solution quickly becomes a huge budget item. Okay, so it's expensive. But honestly, for a lot of businesses, the money isn't even the scariest part. There's a much bigger risk hiding here, and it has to do with the very nature of the data itself. So we have to get a little technical for a second, but this is super important. AI models, particularly LLMs, are what we call non-deterministic. What that means is you can feed them the exact same web page twice and get two different results. There's a bit of randomness, a bit of creativity baked in, which is amazing if you wanted to write a sonnet, but it's a nightmare for structured data. And that non-determinism leads to some huge risks for your data quality. You get different results from the very same page. Even worse, the AI can hallucinate, and that means it will literally just make up data that wasn't there to begin with. All this stuff rolls up into datasets that you simply cannot trust to be consistent or 100% accurate. And this is where the rubber meets the road. Can you imagine building your entire competitive pricing strategy or your market analysis on data that might be inconsistent or partially invented? No way. The foundation is just too shaky. Any decision you build on top of that is fundamentally at risk. But here's the wild part. Even with the cost and reliability problems, we still haven't gotten to the biggest hurdle. The real reason that an AI-only scraping strategy fails is actually something much more basic, something that happens long before the AI even gets a chance to shine. And this right here, this is the real aha moment of this whole thing. Most of the time, the biggest challenge in web scraping has nothing to do with understanding the content on the page. It's just about getting access to the page in the first place. You gotta remember, modern websites are actively trying to stop you. They throw up this whole obstacle course, this gauntlet of defenses. We're talking sophisticated anti-bot systems, we're talking CAPTCHAs, content that doesn't even load right away, and of course, the classic IP blocking if you make too many requests. And this really gets to the heart of the misunderstanding. An AI is brilliant at interpreting the content you give it, but it has zero magical powers to solve a CAPTCHA or to rotate IP addresses or fool a top-tier anti-bot system. Bottom line, it can't read a page it was never able to access. So, if AI alone isn't the silver bullet, then what's the answer for getting reliable data at scale? Well, it means we need to shift our thinking. Instead of looking for a single magic tool, we need to focus on building a robust system. It's all about putting the infrastructure first. See, a successful data architecture is built on these pillars. You need powerful crawling systems to navigate websites. You need smart access management to get past that whole gauntlet of defenses. You need reliable, rule-based extractors to ensure consistency. And then, once you have the data, you bring in AI for what it's truly great at, enriching it, cleaning it up, and validating it. This chart just says it all, doesn't it? In a real-world, enterprise-grade system, about 80% of all the work and complexity is just in the crawling and access part, reliably getting the raw data. That AI layer on top, it's crucial for sure, but it's a much smaller piece of the overall puzzle. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Enterprise web scraping is an infrastructure problem, first and foremost, not an AI problem. You have to solve the tough engineering challenges of access and reliability before anything else. AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's not a replacement for that solid foundation. Which, of course, brings up the next logical question. We've talked a lot about where AI doesn't work as a standalone solution, but we know it's valuable, so where does it fit? What's its proper role, and how can you use it effectively for things like data validation and enrichment? Well, that's exactly what we get into in the full blog post this is all based on. We break down exactly how you can build a hybrid system that gets the best of both worlds, rock-solid infrastructure and smart AI. If you're building data pipelines that absolutely have to work, day in and day out, I really recommend you check it out. The link's right there in the description. Thanks so much for tuning in.